Michael, how are
All
you doing?
right. I'm great. How about yours?
Fabulous. Thank you for asking. So
Cool
let's just
beans.
jump into the very first part of the interview. Tell us a little bit of how and why you got into modeling.
The why. Um, hmm. Why did I get into it? Well, I guess the two go hand in hand. Growing up, my parents were both in the industry. My
Oh,
mom
wow.
stopped as I was born, and then my dad continued as after I was born. So
Oh,
just
really?
knowing that my parents did it really just like, oh wow, that it intrigued me.
Were
And
they
then
in
watch my
the
dad progress
entertainment
through
side,
his,
or were they also models?
yeah. My dad was more in the entertainment and modeling, and my mom was just strictly modeling. My dad was featured on a few shows like All My Children, those soap
Mm-hmm.
operas.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
he was doing that. Yeah, and then he there was a show back in like 2008, I think it was. It was Janice Dickinson's modeling agency. It was on
Mm-hmm.
this channel called Oxygen or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting down watching it. I was like, "Oh crap, that's my dad." So yeah, so I would say I inspired from my parents because hey, they brought me up and like they always told me trust your gut, do what makes you feel the best, and
Right.
let your money follow you right behind. So
That's exactly right.
why did I choose to pursue it? So right after I graduated college, I had a job with Google, worked there for 3 years, and then realized corporate America is not for me. So I resigned from the position, and the day after, I was a busser at a local restaurant. Just I felt
Oh,
stuck.
man. Yeah.
Yes. So I was at my all-time high. I got like this awesome job, and then I was like, it's not for me, and I started cleaning up after people. So,
Right. That must have been so
so, so
scary
yeah,
making that transition.
it was it was uncomfortable. My mom looked at me like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" I'm like, at the very end of the day, I'm not happy, and I
Right.
got to do what makes me happy. So I had to take a nice step back to reset my thoughts and get everything into gear. And then from there, I actually started personal training, and I realized fitness was my calling.
Right.
But yeah, big story, big story. I could literally give you the full facade of all of it, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I find that super interesting because modeling is not the typical type of career choice for males. And
Hmm.
see that you grew up into it, or practically was born into it, was such a neat thing. So you were already on the path. And with fitness, it kind of goes already hand in hand, which is super neat. Do you find yourself,
Hmm.
do you think that's been giving you an edge into the modeling scene?
So the physical attribute of personal training and being in fitness, yeah, that's a plus right there. But when people ask me about my profession and what I do, personal training is more than just learning how to work out and teaching people how to do their thing.
Right.
It it teaches your mind to be in this correct mindset where you can do anything that you want to, as long as you apply yourself in all the right places.
Right.
And I think that's where the fitness world actually plays into part and exactly what I do as a professional model.
Right.
Because honestly, you have full control of what happens within the career, and you have to be driven and know how to apply yourself and timing and networking, and it's literally you as a personal business, and that's what
Right.
exactly personal training is. So I
Right.
feel like the two just connect on that. And the physical attribute of being able to look great in the photos and all that kind of stuff, that's just a plus. But it's all up in here, honestly.
That's perfect. I know that's how I tell some of my other friends or the girls that look up to me. I'm saying dance for me has always been great for modeling because it's instilling the discipline aspect of it, and I've really been honing
Hmm.
in on modeling because there was no way I would have been able to pursue this career without the discipline I've already had, that foundation from dance. So
Yes,
the
yes.
fact that you're able to
So yeah,
apply
no, no,
those aspects is really cool.
yeah, no, I can definitely relate to you on the dance part too, because back in high school I used to teach classes,
Oh,
hip
neat.
hop, contemporary, and jazz. Yeah, so the movement of how I present myself in my photos, I feel like that also
Yeah,
connects
it
another
translates
dot
so
that
well.
a lot of models miss.
Watch this guy for the angles, and then there's this one clip of you going triangle. It was
Yes.
so cool.
Triangle. Yeah, no, one thing that I always look for in my photos are lines. Because we always have to remember what we do is only 2D. People see a flat surface,
Right,
and it's up to the model to actually create these dynamics and actually make this photo come to life and make you feel a certain type of way.
right,
And the first thing that I always look at in a photo is the lines of a body, not the face, not the fingers, not the all the little details. It's the full picture of like, okay, this is presentable. So in my head, whenever I'm on set, I'm always thinking about what can I do with my body to make this photo a little bit more bigger than what it is.
right. Which is the perfect muse for photographers and clients and brands.
Yes.
Yeah, totally feel you. Okay, so let's touch back a little bit on breaking into the industry. How long did it take you to get signed with your mother agency? Because then it was like I barely knew you, and then all of a sudden you got signed with more agencies, like the big ones, and I'm going, whoa, this happened so quickly for you.
Yeah.
But I know that's usually not the case.
Yeah. No. So I was in the game since senior year because everyone was just like, "Oh, I'm going to school here. I'm going to school here." Deep down inside, I personally knew I didn't want to go to school. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't a bad thing. It was just a personal choice. Like,
Right, it's
hey,
just
I
different.
know education is the gateway to success, but it's not the only way.
Right,
So, as I was about to graduate from high school, I started working remotely close with a lot of local photographers within Detroit. That opened my eyes to like actually being in front of a camera. And then
right.
from there, I actually started working at the mall. I was a manager at this shoe store called Aldo's, and the coworkers there were great. They were very into fashion, and this was something so brand new to me. That was actually the first time I got my eyebrows threaded. I was
Oh,
like, wow,
really?
this is groundbreaking. So yeah, no. From there, I did a lot of local runway shows and
Hmm.
all that fun stuff. So, full scheme of it, it took me 10 years to
Wow.
actually get to this very point in life where I am. I met my mother agent actually on my birthday.
Really? That's
um,
amazing.
yeah, we stopped by local Starbucks. Um, I showed her my Instagram. I showed her all the work that I had, and she just looked at me. She was like, "Michael, you've been ready." I'm like, okay, because honestly, I will tell you, running in circles in Detroit is exhausting, and
Yes,
I almost gave
I'm
up on
sure.
modeling. I almost gave up on modeling when I think I was like 22 or something like that. I was like, nothing's budging. Let me just
Right.
get on my professional route where I need to go. So I kind of put
Right.
that in the back seat. Then I ran into my mother agent. She said, "Yo, Mike, you're ready. What are you doing?" I'm like, "I
That's
don't
awesome.
know." So, so yeah, I signed with her a week after, and after that, quarantine hit.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Wow.
quarantine hit right after I got signed, and I was like, "Crap." Oh well. So she just said, Mike, build up your Instagram, get some motion in there. So that's when I started making my workout videos and I
Right.
started having fun with it and people started like getting intrigued by what I was doing. And then
Fantastic.
after the lockdown let loose, I had 3 photo shoots back to back to back in one week. Knocked all those out. 2 weeks later, I got all my photos back. My mother agent sent me out, and
The
yeah,
rest is
here we are.
history. That's amazing. So for those who are
Yeah.
listening, who are those big agencies that you were able to get signed with?
I am very proud and honored to say that my very first signing was with Wilhelmina. I remember
Woohoo!
when I was what 18, I was at a runway show called
Hmm.
Walk, and
Oh
the
yeah, I've
producers
done
that
a few of those.
yes, yeah, so the producers that put that together mentioned that Wilhelmina was in the audience looking, scouting for models, and
Whoa.
I just remember going like, oh, please see something in me. And of course, I got passed on that, but
Yeah,
everything happens for a reason, and I'm a true believer of that.
yeah. It's all about the universe and the timing of it.
Yeah. So my initial signing was with Wilhelmina, and then I don't know what happened, but 2 days later, I got signed with Select.
Right. I remember seeing that on
And
Instagram where you were just
I
like,
I learned,
here it is. So cool.
yeah. When we look at modeling, it can go any direction you want it to go, and it continues as that. And I really want models that are in the industry or looking to get into the industry, knowing that
Mhm.
everything has a trail mark. It's about
Right.
the photos that you produce. It's about the people that you work with. It's a full network. And as I'm progressing through my career right now, I'm slowly learning that. And every single thing that you do makes an impact on you in the small way or a big way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially because everything's on the internet and will be there forever.
Yes, yes, exactly. So when I was talking to my mother agent, she was asking me questions like, so what's your goal? And my goal was to work within the country in all corners. So within the ending of this year, I'm really trying hard to get signed in New York and LA, and then
Hmm.
next year should be amazing.
Manifesting now. It'll come.
Exactly.
It'll come, definitely. So, what market are you trying to hit? Are you trying to do commercial? Are you trying to do high fashion? Are you trying to do fitness? Are you trying to just do them all?
So as much as I want to say I want to do them all, realistically, I just want to put this in everyone's minds. It's a lot of work.
Yes,
So
they're all different.
hone in on what you're really good at. Yeah, hone in on what you're really good at, because when you're building your book, when they see diversity, it doesn't come off as diversity, it comes off as messy. So
Mm,
keep that in mind, guys. So while building my book, I was first introduced as this fitness model, which is great because that's what I know
right.
honestly what
That's
I
what
can
you
do that
do.
easily.
Yeah, that's your specialty.
Yeah, but personally, going back to my routes when I was younger, I've always wanted to do fashion. And I was like, let me apply that in what I have. So what I had being introduced, yes, it's solid, but moving forward, everything else is going to be a little bit more in the fashion realm.
Right.
And I'm trying to get my foot into the high fashion world. Yeah, no, right now it's a cross path of exactly where we're going to go for the next few years. So I have to be very disciplined with myself, be very selective of what photos I do produce and the
Right.
clothing items I present to agents.
Right. So, you've been working in the freelance area for about 10 years before you got signed. Tell me the pros and
Hmm.
cons, or tell our audience the pros and cons for working as a freelance model, and then the pros and cons as a signed model, because I know, again, those are totally different worlds.
Yes. So freelance, you are your manager, you are your business, you are the creator. You literally have full control of anything that you want to do.
Right.
This could be a good thing or a bad thing, because one, you have all this opportunity to do whatever you want to, work with whoever you want to. You can reach out to somebody in Mexico if you want to and work with them. It's just that ability to be a free bird that we all inside personally want to be.
Right.
Uh, the con to that, though, um, obviously, we all do this for what? Money. And when it comes to that, the business aspect of it gets a little sloppy. Compensation doesn't look as well as you want it to,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
half of the time it's work for work. So you really don't gain any of that, but exposure, and you
Right.
can only gain so much exposure, so much to the point where it's like, okay, where's the climax of this? Where is the return? So freelance, that's the both sides I see on that. I ran around in circles for a very good minute, and it gets exhausting
It
because at the end
does.
of it, you want payout. You you keep on seeing these photos and you keep on getting shocked, but there's no uh, after that. So
Right.
you're just like, okay, on to the next one. Working as a contracted model though, pros, you literally have a team behind you, pointing directions of where they want to go, present you to these clients, and you literally just take a back seat and you
Right.
wait for opportunities to come towards you.
Right.
The cons to that, though, you just can't open your arms to anyone and say, "Oh, I would love to work with you," because I can tell
Right.
you, after I got signed, I had a lot of photographers flocking to me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I say no in the most gentle way? Because you really can't just work with anybody. Because now
Right.
you have to remember that you have
You're
a
no
company to
longer,
represent.
exactly, you're no longer your own business. Now you're the agency's business.
Yes. So that would be probably the most 180 switch that I had to quickly adjust to. Because I
Right.
was so excited that everyone was just reaching out to me. I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. So, but yeah, I quickly realized like, oh, can't do that, can't do that. You
Right.
gotta talk to my agent, talk to my booker. I don't know what to tell you. Thank you for the
Right.
compliment though. So
It's like
yeah,
you said, you
so
got to
yeah,
be selective now.
it's beautiful, but it's a
It's
pain
different. It's
sometimes.
new. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable sometimes, but
yeah,
it's a totally different world. That's why I was wondering because I
yeah,
know a lot of people would ask me about the differences, and um, someone brought up a really interesting question. As a signed model, how do you be proactive in getting deals or gigs sometimes? Because there's the up and down periods of models. That's usually how it is.
yeah,
How do you be proactive
yeah.
while not stepping on other people's toes?
So I told my mother agent right out the gate that I'm the type of person that likes to be engaged in his work. So some people may like to take the back seat and allow everyone else to do the job, and then you just pull up
Yeah.
and do it. Me personally, I like to be involved in exactly what I'm creating, who I'm working with, who I'm networking with, and the full facade. So it's not just me like, okay, I'm finally in the door. You
Right.
guys can do what you guys want with me. I want to be present with every decision that is made.
Right.
And I don't want to speak for other people, but that's just how I work. I like to know. I like to be in the know.
I'm that way too. And then also because it's your image.
Yeah,
It's literally your own
exactly,
image. Yeah.
exactly.
So when it comes to the up and downs, we handle a lot of rejection. We face so much rejection. How are you able to stay um, mentally healthy while facing that? And what were some steps and things that you're able to do to be able to kind of balance the rejection versus, the small smidgen of success?
Yeah. So all the aspiring models out there, I just want to let you guys know that rejection is probably the most common thing within the industry. So get used to the word no. The way it's not the rejection that hurts us, it's the way that we handle the rejection that actually makes us feel a certain type of way.
Exactly.
Along with just how I've been brought up and that kind of stuff. It's not about how you handle it, it's how you react to it.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Yep.
it comes to rejection, I always look at it as not a closed door, but as a, how would I word this? Not a closed door, just a locked door. It's not ready to be opened.
Hmm.
So I just need to find the
Interesting.
right key to get into the door. So
Right.
yeah, because when I first got signed, 2 weeks later, I had a potential client to work with, Dick's Sporting Goods. Due to COVID, though, they're only working regional right now. So
Right.
this job was based out in, where was it? Boston, Massachusetts. So yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to book the job. I was a little depressed. I was like, dang, first job, didn't get it. But
Right.
I messaged my booker. I was like, hey, it's all good. There's many more opportunities to come. This is just the beginning. So
Absolutely.
rejection, guys, get used to it. Learn how to just own up to your self-worth. It's not a no to you personally. It's a no to what's around us. Remember that.
Exactly. Let's move on a little bit from that. Who are your biggest influences in this industry?
In the industry,
Or even, it
would it
doesn't
have
even
to be
need to be in the
models?
industry. Just something that
Oh, okay.
really, people that you look up to or that influences your career path right now.
Definitely. So I always, my circle of friends, as they're watching me progress through all of this and how I digest it, they always ask me, how do you do it when you step in front of a camera? And there's two people that I always stem from. I pull pieces from both of them. and I try to cohesively migrate them together. My first one's going to be Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
I love the man. Everything down from the clothes to the sound to his message. Those are the things that I want to become as like a power stance. So when I step
Right.
on set, I always think about how gentle he was, but how directive and how powerful and what he wanted was addressed. So that's the aspect that I take from Michael. My artistic side, I'm a little monster. So Lady Gaga is
Oh,
Lady
yes.
Gaga is my heart and
Yes.
soul. I remember the first time I saw her, I was like, this woman's different. So when it comes to my creative process and how I want to be, I always look at her and say, would she tolerate this? That kind of stuff. So those two, I really just, I
Right.
step on set and I just make a hybrid version of both of them.
It's interesting because both are known for their presence and their stage performance, and they're always, always like, especially Lady Gaga, it doesn't matter if she's walking in the room or something, even the smallest moment is like already a performance. So that's so
Yes, yeah.
cool.
So at the very end of the day, like I'm using, I'm not, I want to say using, as I'm progressing through my career, of course, I want to have a solid foundation within modeling, but I want it to become bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
I want to get into designing and acting. So we'll get there one day, but I'm going to do
You'll
baby
definitely
steps.
get
But at the
there.
end of the day,
It's a learning process.
so yeah, those are my two. It really is. I'm learning every single day as I'm progressing, and just like, wow, there's much more to this industry
I
than
know.
what we know.
Exactly. I remember when I first stepped into it, I started as a makeup artist, and then modeling kind of happened, and then I got obsessed with every detail and every corner of the industry, and it hasn't stopped. I was like, every time I'm doing some form of casting or a gig or someone I meet, I'm always learning something new, and it's always exciting, and I don't think that's
Yeah.
ever going to stop.
No, like I feel like the people that are really engaged in what the industry is about and not about like, oh, looking good or oh, my photo taking photos, those kind of people will last in the industry. If you're just doing it for the physical attributes, not to crush your dreams or anything, but it
Right,
doesn't go far.
right.
It does not.
Despite what people thinking like it's a shallow industry, it's so much deeper than that, even though all they see is just
It's
this
so much deeper.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's so much deeper than that. So that's the stigma I really want to break around modeling when we speak about this. I don't want us to feel bashful or like we're bragging. It's like, yo, I honestly run a full business through my image, and that's what these big people that we look up to do. And
Right,
it's not easy.
right. So let's go into that a little bit further for those listening. How would you show or tell our audience that modeling is so much deeper than what they just see? All they see is the glamour. How would you go about breaking the stigma?
So when I interact with people, I always want to have that lasting impression, that one thing that they can walk away from the conversation and go, wow, he was a nice guy. So it's more than just how you look. It's about how you treat people and the messages that you carry with everything that you do that really progress you within the industry. Because if you're some
Right,
stuck up person that knows they're really good looking, you're going to get shut down because you're going to work with so many people, so many interesting people. And if you're going to come off very cocky or just
right,
snobby, it's not going to click. And within the industry, it is a big network circle and your name gets thrown around a lot.
right,
And half of the time they're going to be talking something and you better hope it's something good.
right.
So what I always tell people, if you want to have a better future for yourself, don't look out the window, look at yourself in the mirror and think about what you can work on yourself personally before you go out there and start pointing fingers and telling people to change this, change that, change this. Be the change that you want.
Be the change that you want. It also reminds me of what you just said of the one quote by Maya Angelou. where she's like,
Mm-hmm.
where she says, people will forget what you said, what you did, but at the end of the day, people will remember how you made them
We'll
feel.
never. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So
that's
yeah,
really
that
great
that.
advice.
Thank you.
Actually, I think that's perfect, especially that will lead us into the end of this interview. If you can give any final advice to those watching, um, either tips and tricks or whatever it is. I know we've already dropped a ton of gems, but sometimes at the end, this is where
Mm-hmm.
they really hone in. But even to the
Yeah.
past model self, what advice would you give to try and
Mm.
not really break into the industry because we've already covered that, but persevere?
Mm-hmm. Persevere. Always stay true to yourself. At the very end of the day, that's who I am as a person. Um, I received a lot of negative backlash on certain things that I've done, and I'm not here to please people. I'm here to please myself at the very end of the day. And people, you can't make everyone happy.
Right.
Um, as I progress through my career, I'm just learning about myself a little bit more and how driven I am. So I always tell my clients this as well: hold yourself to a higher standard. Always hold yourself accountable for exactly everything that you do,
Yeah.
rather that be good or bad. Just know that you did that and be very
Right.
proud of what happened, and be unapologetic when you speak about your vision and your ideas. Be true to yourself and be grounded. Um, if I could tell myself something back when I was younger, is just apply yourself in all the right places. Honestly, because like I said, I've been in this for 10 years, and now that everything is at its surface, finally,
Right.
it's kind of unrealistic and it's uncomfortable to actually think about, wow, I
Right.
actually did this.
And it's
So,
perfect because it's like you
got
said, 10 years is you're ready now. You have that foundation
yeah,
because
no,
things are going to happen so quick. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh.
yeah,
But
yeah. I was talking to my parents, and because some people may look at it as like, oh, you got help from your parents. I absolutely didn't. I told myself, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it on my own.
right.
And I never reached out to my parents for any networking advice. I never asked them to send people my way. I did everything on my own, and it really makes you reflect about, like, wow, if you apply yourself correctly and you believe in
Right.
yourself, it may sound baffling at some point in your life, like, why am I doing this?
Right.
That's when you know you got something good going for yourself, when you
When you
came and
get that
digested
feeling.
yourself.
Yeah. That feeling of, I'm scared. I don't know if this is the right decision. It means it's
Yes.
you're in the right
Fear,
path.
yeah, yes, fear is good, people. Don't be afraid of fear. Fear is just an
Yes.
emotion, it's not real.
That's how I felt when I went to New York this year. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. What am I doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So everyone listen to your gut, listen to your instincts. You know exactly where you need to go. You know what decisions you need to make. You know who you need to connect with. Just trust in yourself. Be
yes.
grounded, like Michael said, and be persistent. All
Be
right.
persistent. That's probably the biggest key. Be persistent on exactly what you want. Keep on nailing at that until it
Right.
just opens.
Yep.
Because
Because
it takes one yes. It literally takes one yes. I know I'm
just one
quoting Lady
yes,
Gaga
that's
on
all
this
you
one.
need.
It takes one person to say yes to you for a whole entire world to open up.
Right.
So final advice I would say for aspiring models: um, take some shortcuts. Find yourself a mother agent. After I found my mother agent, literally everything fell into place. It took a huge load off myself and allowed me to actually get my foot in the door and work with people I've never even had the opportunity to speak with.
Right.
So
Now
I
you're
would say
able to
probably
hone
that's
in
the
and focus on your craft. So great
yes,
advice.
yes. I have her doing all the connects and all the fun stuff on that end, while I'm over here like teaching myself, like, all right, this is how you do that. So yeah, guys, get a mother agent. I know it's not the easiest thing to find, but like make sure you find one that you work well with, because at the very end of the day, relationships are what make this industry move.
Right. It's who you know, not what you know.
Yes, exactly. No one cares about how much you know. They care about how much you care.
Exactly. Okay. Well, this has been a fabulous interview. You've dropped so many gems of advice that I know people are going to be like rewinding and replaying. But thank you so much for
Well,
taking the time to talk with me.
no, this was awesome. This was my first time doing like something like this and just getting able
Yay.
to share my story with people. And so I really appreciate the opportunity for you to even reach out to me. So
Well, thanks for saying yes. It's always the one yes.
exactly.
Yep. Okay.